Well, consumers, as we all know, very important part to make sure that agriculture products move and are consumed. And the beef business is what we're talking about here in San Antonio at the Cattle Industry Conference. And joining us now, Polly Ruhland, who is the CEO of the Cattlemen's Beef Board. And as we talk about those consumers, they're still saying loud and proud, we love beef.
Yeah, that's very true, but that doesn't mean we can take our eye off the ball as far as making them part of our community and giving them exactly what they want. And that's what the Beef Checkoff does. We spend a lot of time and resources on understanding consumers and understanding what they need from our industry and from our product, and then trying to fulfill those needs.
A couple of interesting observations. I've talked to folks here at the convention, and in the presentations that you have made to attendees, in some of the market research that you do and trying to find out exactly what makes that consumer tick. It's not even things we did 5 years ago. Now you're really focusing in on some of the habits and some of the ways appliances people are buying and what that means, and as we look at what their habits are of buying proteins.
Very true, and there's been a profound shift, I think, in the consumer environment in the last few years. And by that, I mean consumers would rather not be talked at, but they'd rather be talked with these days. In other words, you can't sell them something without including them in what that means to them. And that's a very big shift from a few years ago, and one that I think the Checkoff has made admirably in the last year. And as a matter of fact, some of our results indicate that the way that we've shifted from talking at them to talking with them has had a really positive impact on the way we sell beef. Matter of fact, Beef is What's for Dinner website, 360% more visitors in the past year than we had the year before. It's really working, and that's one of the successes of the Checkoff program this past year.
The Beef Board made that dramatic decision to start this past year to maybe do away with some of the traditional advertising or make that shift to more social media, not only on the website, but engaging some of those social media channels. So I would guess that would almost have to help as far as to continue to have those messages, but also being able to interact with them as a lot of consumers, a lot of people are just doing that now.
Yeah, that's the interaction is the key part. For example, we know that when, especially our younger consumers and our millennial consumers, when they watch television these days, they're never just watching one screen. They're watching their television, then they're on their iPad, and then they're on their phone. And so understanding that trend and being willing to engage them as they watch a television show on beef, like you're sitting next to them and having a conversation with them on Twitter or on Facebook or on those other social media properties, that allows us to kind of expand our conversation with them exponentially. So even though the Checkoff isn't on television, for example, anymore in traditional media, we can use television to talk with consumers about our product and the innovations we have. It's just a different way of thinking about consumers.
Speaking of consumers, well, we start with those producers also, as they are now starting to make more direct connections with it because of the Checkoff, and some of the things that you're going to be doing, I understand pretty quickly, is helping spread that message of the great return on investment that producers that pay the Checkoff, and some of those results and how it has impacted those ones that are paying it.
Yeah, we do a return on investment study every 5 years to make sure that our investors, that'd be the producers and the importers that pay the Checkoff, are getting a good return on their investment. We had Dr. Harry Kaiser at Cornell University, an expert in these types of ROI studies, perform our ROI study. It found that producers are getting about $11.20 for every $1 they invest in CBB programs, and I'll tell you what, I'll take it. Take me on any stock investment and give me $11.20 to every dollar, and you'll be a happy woman.
All right, Polly, as we look ahead, there's been a lot of innovation in the last couple of years as we continue to try to find out what consumers want and how we can make sure the beef is right there in the center of the plate. I know I'm using some old phrasing, it's been, but what are we looking at in the future with the Beef Board?
Well, as far as innovation goes, we ain't seen nothing yet. We must drive harder and harder toward engaging those consumers in interesting, new, and fresh food experiences. So we may even need to stop thinking about beef as center of the plate and start thinking about beef as everywhere on the plate. Beef as an ingredient, how can we use it along with all kinds of fresh, healthy food to make sure that we get that good mixture of balanced diet. So I think the innovation front is something that we're going to have to drive really hard on, harder than we've ever driven before, to make sure we have those fresh experiences for consumers and chefs every day.
Polly, thanks for the update. Great information.
Thank you.
Polly Ruhland, who is CEO of the Cattlemen's Beef Board, has joined us. That's the Ag View from San Antonio. I'm Ken Rogers.